we asked you to consider under what conditions, if any, you would recommend that your firm bid on a project to design an American prison. Let's consider examples of how the tech stewardship behaviors might inspire ideas for possible conditions. Imagine that in considering the tech stewardship behavior of seek purpose, we reflected more deeply on the true purpose of the prison as not only to punish, but also to rehabilitate. As a result, we decided to take on the project, but only with this condition, that we must use restorative justice principles to guide our decisions. Next, we consider the tech stewardship behavior of take responsibility. In doing so, we realize that we won't be able to fully understand the long-term outcomes of the prison right after it's built. Therefore, we make it a condition that our company must be involved for the first couple of years of operations so that we can adapt to any unforeseen consequences or opportunities, and that our performance and compensation be tied to measures of long-term outcomes. Next, we considered the tech stewardship behavior of expand inclusion, and we saw a couple of opportunities. First, realizing that we were lacking in perspectives and certain expertise and lived experience, and that the overall success of the prison would be dependent on its integration within the community, we insisted on creating a diverse committee, including community members, prisoners, victim rights activists, prison abolitionists, police officers, etc., to help guide the design process. And rather than accept initial design criteria, such as the size of dining facilities based on prisoner population numbers, we insisted on engaging with prison staff and sociologists to come up with alternate prison management systems that would reduce peak usage of key facilities, thereby saving budget that was redeployed to add other enhancements to the design. Finally, in considering the tech stewardship behavior of work to regenerate, rather than assume that the local community would necessarily face several negative outcomes, we began wondering, what if we instead challenge ourselves to work with the local community? What if we work with the community groups and leaders to find creative ways for the prison to bolster the community through jobs, community programs, etc.? And we insisted on meeting with local religious and indigenous leaders to understand how we could customize the design to facilitate rehabilitation in alignment with people's underlying faiths and beliefs. All of this sounds great. So why aren't they already happening? The answer to this is complex and multifaceted. Part of it is certainly that many individuals who are involved in such decisions are not appreciating the full scope of the challenges or their potential power within it. Another major challenge is either-or thinking that contributes to prioritize traditional tech development values and behaviors to the neglect of the interconnected complementary values and behaviors of tech stewardship. We can consider the opportunity in terms of a polarity map if we place tech development on one side and tech stewardship on the other. Currently, tech development values and behaviors dominate in most cases within our society, in particular when there is a profit motive. For example, the prison design scenario that we just considered. The benefits of prioritizing tech development are that our action orientation and emphasis on efficiently utilizing resources to achieve our focused purpose results in deep benefits for our direct stakeholders. However, when we over-focus on tech development values and strengths to the neglect of interconnected tech stewardship values and strengths, the result is that our tendency to jump to action too quickly in a myopic fashion results in unintended consequences and missed opportunities. Conversely, when we prioritize tech stewardship values and strengths, our reflective orientation and emphasis on cultivating systems allows us to make broad contributions to a wide range of stakeholders. In some circumstances, however, it is also possible to overemphasize tech stewardship strengths and values to the neglect of the interconnected complementary tech development values and strengths. In these instances, our tendency to get lost in complexity and trying to ensure broad and wide benefits results in inaction and frustration. The more often we can find both end paths forward that integrate the best of both tech development and tech stewardship, the more often we will avoid the negative outcomes and rather achieve our higher purpose of ensuring technology is beneficial for all. To help us spot the more specific value tensions associated with each tech stewardship behavior, we have created polarity maps for each behavior. For example, this one that explores the tech development and tech stewardship value tension related to the behavior of seek purpose. Although having polarity maps for each behavior helps make spotting value tensions easier, it's still not easy, as rarely in life are issues identified and questions posed as obviously as they were in the case of the prison example. That is why, as tech stewards, it's important that we develop and maintain a practice of noticing value tensions, naming them, reflecting on opportunities within them, and then taking action that unlocks both end outcomes.